Good morning, my trader friends. It is 5:30 a.m. Pacific, 8:30 a.m. Eastern on Wednesday, July 24th. I'm Jonathan Van Kloot, and I am going to be taking a look at some various key markets for you and with you this morning. I would just ask that you give me a thumbs up on the video. Let me know that you liked it or found it interesting, and leave me any feedback in the comments below. If there's any symbols you'd like me to look at, or anything that you don't understand or could use help with in your trading, anything like that, anything I can do to help you out, let me know and I'll see what I can do. All right, let's start by jumping into the S&P 500. It's always the first market I take a look at. It is the market. When people talk about the market, that's usually what they mean is the S&P. So we are at the moment continuing up. There was a lot of worry here about this big down move. It got dangerously close, dangerously close to our previous higher low, but did not break it. So at the moment, uptrend is still intact. Everything is still looking good. We are still heading up. We're getting close to the all-time highs, though. And there is a significant sell zone right there overhead. So I would not be at all surprised to see some resistance happen up here. But at the same time, this is all-time high territory. So it's never been up here before. We don't really have any precedent for being up this high. We don't really have much to go on here, except for the fact that we know there are some people who bought right up here and now they were suffering and they probably got out. At least a lot of them probably did. And now the market is heading back up again. But anybody who didn't get out is probably holding their breath saying, please get me back even again. Just get me out. Let me get my money back. And they will probably start selling somewhere around this bottom here. But depending on how many there are, if there's not enough of them to overwhelm the buyers, then market could simply head higher. So we'll have to see what happens. At the moment, anyway, I am expecting that this is, pardon me, this is a wave 3 up, in which case I'm believing that it still has more room to go. And in theory, if this is a textbook extension, it actually has a lot more potentially to go, like several hundred points. But that's if it's a textbook extension, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a textbook extension. So we'll have to just watch very carefully. This is, kind of dangerous territory here where the market is right now. So right now, though, trend is up. Don't argue with the trend. You can see even the 50 SMA, it had barely even started to go up. It really had been very sideways for quite some time, and is only now just starting to hook to the upside. So if that continues, then obviously I would expect to see this accelerate and eventually really start heading up. The 13 EMA is, of course, over the 50. That is a bullish sign as well. Oscillator's bullish. Everything is looking good. The only maybe early warning sign we have here is the MACD getting below the signal line. That is, yeah, possible. Not so much cause for concern, but just something to pay attention to, something to note. But right now, anyway, as long as we stay above that higher low, then we are still in an uptrend. But we got to get over this higher high in order to truly have continuation of that trend. Right now, we are at a pretty much perfect textbook doji on this candle here. But, the market hasn't opened yet. So it's only, it's got almost an hour to go before it opens this morning. So a lot of things can happen. On the smaller time frame, based on what I see right now, it looks to me like we actually are in a wave 3. I mentioned that I believe that we are in a wave 3 up, but even more so than that, I believe that on this wave 3, we are in actually of wave 3, we're in 3-1, 3-2, and now 3-3 of that 3. By this analysis, there's a lot of up room still to come, which the contrarian in me naturally has a difficult time believing. Everything in me wants to say, no way, we're headed down. All my natural instincts and intuition are we're heading down, but I tend to always think that way. I will think that way here. I will think that way here. I will think that way here. I will think that way anytime the market gives me any little hint of heading lower. And then, of course, it heads higher. So this is exactly why we don't trade what we think, because what I think doesn't amount to anything, doesn't mean anything, doesn't matter. The market doesn't care what I think. The market's going to do what the market's going to do. So you trade what you see. And right now, what I see is a continuation to the upside. So I got to trade that way. That's just all there is to it. So right now, this moment, that's what I see. I see all signs pointing to continuation to the upside. Now, that being said, we do have a short-term sell zone somewhere right about there. I'm just kind of eyeballing it here. So not surprisingly, we had some resistance, a bit of a pullback there. I don't know what's going to happen, obviously, but it's entirely possible that the next push up could get over that, in which case there's, again, a little very, very, very minor resistance area there. But the next major point is going to be up here. So that is what we're looking for to get over. And that is going to be the significant point that we need to get over. It's as simple as that. That is our magic line in the sand. And, that is also our all-time highs right there. So just be aware. We got to get up over that or get down below this low, one or the other. Right now, we're just right in the middle, right in between. So if you're a day trader, obviously you can trade both directions if you want, if that's your thing. Just make sure that you understand your short-term trends, use your multiple time frames, and trade cautiously, because at any moment this market could reverse or some crazy good news could come out and it could explode to the upside. It could start to move dramatically when it starts to move. All right, let's take a look at the Russell 2000, RTY, my personal favorite market to trade at the moment. And RTY still just trapped in this parallel, diagonal, downwards channel flag thing. This is a very, very, very prolonged channel at this point. It's just down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Ridiculously choppy. This has been a challenging market to trade if you are expecting a trending market, if you're expecting it to really just move one direction to the upside or downside with some strength. We're not really getting that. However, take a look at this. Oscillator getting very, very dangerously close to that zero line. I kind of feel like we're going to start to move one way or the other fairly soon. I don't think this is sustainable for a whole lot longer. Right now, we have come down to this level here. I had a previous trend line drawn right roughly around there. And of course, we broke that. I've adjusted that trend line right now. This moment, anyhow, it's holding on that line, but anything could happen. It could change on a dime, and we just got to be really, really cautious. But here's our actual higher low. As long as we're above that higher low, then uptrend is still intact. I believe that this is still a continuation of a wave 2 down. And it's just a very complex wave 2, but that is what I believe this is. Of course, again, my beliefs don't matter. What matters is what is the market doing. And right now, the market is a bigger picture still in an uptrend. So that is what I am looking to trade, is that uptrend, that higher highs and higher lows. But as a day trader, when I'm trying to just scalp, which is what I've been mostly focusing on for the last week or so, once I got it out of my head that we were going to be a nice trending market, start heading up, and I started just scalping more aggressively instead, then things got better for me. So I'm going to continue to do that until this market shows us that it is definitively ready to break one way or the other. I am just going to expect small gains, small wins, and just take what I can get, take what the market will let me have, and be thankful for it. And as simple as that, take the money and run. So that's what I'm looking at right now. A big picture, I'm looking for more upside, but short picture, small picture, I'm looking to just take the small wins and take my ball and go home. All right, crude oil. Take a look at that, and crude oil is bouncing. Came down, kissed the 61.8, and bounced. So I'm liking the way that looks for a completion of the wave 4 down. That being said, if we take a look at the 60-minute time frame, there we go. We may be a little worried about one thing, which is we don't really, ideally, the ideal pullback here on a wave 4 would be a nice A, B, C, a very clear-cut ABC pattern. We don't really have that. If anything, this is more of a 5-wave pattern than it is an ABC. So, I mean, you could argue that it's an A, a B, and a C, maybe. I'm not wild about that analysis. What I'm concerned about is that if I am incorrect and this is not done, that this might be an A, a B, and we might have a C yet to come. Maybe get down to the 76.4, something like that, and then head higher. So we're just gonna need to be cautious here and keep a close eye on this. I also, if this was a wave B up, it should also be an ABC. And it also doesn't really look like a nice, crisp, clear ABC. So this is a little muddy right now. This whole move is not as clear as I would like it to be. So that's just the way it goes sometimes with our analysis. We are always adapting our analysis to fit what the market wants to do. The market is not going to conform to our analysis. We just have to adjust our analysis over time as we go and try to get it in line with what the market is doing and project from there, give ourselves some probabilities on what might happen. So at the moment anyway, I am still going with completion of wave 4 here and wave 5 to the upside happening here. But technically, we don't know for sure. It's going to be especially challenging because if this is the start of a wave 5, then, well, we're going to have we expect a wave 2 down, and maybe we already had it. Maybe it was this, but this is a smaller time frame. So it's really hard to tell. So just be really careful. If you're trading crude to the upside, just be prepared for it possibly to come back down again. And keep your losses small if you have them, or if you can sit through them, that's fine too. If your risk parameters allow you to sit through some drawdown, maybe add more if it gets down here, something like that, then that's great too. But otherwise, just make sure you keep your losses small and manageable. Keep them contained. Don't let them blow up your account, and then just be prepared to continue to trade to the upside when you see confirmation that that is what's happening. Right now, anyway, though, short-term trend is clearly, there we go, it's clearly up. And that's what I'm looking for in this market, is continuation of the upside until it proves to me that that's not what's going to happen. All right, let's take a peek at gold. And gold popped really high, popped up here, tried to even go a little higher, couldn't do it, and then sold off pretty aggressively. But look where it came to. It came right to the 13 EMA. And right now, today, we are bouncing up. It's looking good for more upside. Momentum on the 60-minute has crossed the 0 line to the upside. Momentum on the daily, of course, is still to the upside. It's still strong. MACD line is still below its signal line, though, and has been all this time. It tried to get over it here, kissed the signal line, and then came back down again. So there's some selling happening up here for sure. There is some selling pressure, but a lot of that selling pressure has been relieved because the market got up here, absorbed those orders, and now is pulled back. So what's going to happen the next time it gets up there? There might not be as much selling going on at this level. So we're going to want to keep a real close eye on that. And this line here is the one we need to get over. We got to get over that high to really see confirmation of upside continuation. But once that happens, I mean, we've got clear sailing. We've got a lot of room up above to continue if we can get up there. So the thing we have to wonder is, if this was the end of wave 3 and this was the end of wave 4 somewhere down here, well, is this the end of wave 5? Is this just going to be a truncated, shortened, abbreviated wave 5? It could be. Wave 5 doesn't always have to be nice and crisp and clear. It often can be kind of ugly. It's that last desperation gasp as FOMO, fear of missing out, is kicking in and people are chasing price and so forth. So it can do weird things sometimes and be a little unpredictable. If, in fact, this is the end of wave 5, then we're looking for a pullback to, somewhere here-ish, somewhere about there. So that could be no fun to sit through that. That's not a massive sell-off. And certainly it is still a high that this market hasn't seen in a while, up over 1,300 or so. Is pretty good. Gold hasn't been up here in some time. So this is some good levels for it to be up over 1,400 right now. But if it can push up to 1,500, then we may have a serious bull market continuation on our hands. I personally kind of think that's what we're looking at. But again, what does it matter what I think? What I think does not mean a damn thing. So got to just trade what we see. Right now, what I see is support at the 13 EMA. Price is heading higher. And you can see the 13 has acted as support this entire time. Every time price has gotten back down to it, shot up above it, down to it, shot up above it, etc. So this is the pattern that I am looking at and what I'm expecting to see continue. So right now, upside in gold is what I'm looking for. All right, let's look at natural gas. And natural gas, was heading higher nicely, and I have it drawn as this 5-wave completion. This is just such a brief 5 waves. I actually feel more like this is like a maybe a 4-hour wave count or an hourly wave count or something like that. I don't really like this that much for a daily wave count. That's what my intuition is telling me. My gut is telling me I don't like that wave count because it's too short. But again, what does that mean? Nothing. At the moment, anyway, one way or the other, no matter how you count it, it's looking like we've got some kind of a 1 up and maybe a 2 down, and now maybe we're starting a 3 up, and maybe this is even the 1, the 2, and then we're going to head higher from there. So, I'm just projecting here. Don't really have any way to know for sure right this instant. The move is down on the 60-minute. Oscillator is below the 0 line. Everything is looking bearish. We got a nice little trend line there. But this is the low to stay above. As long as it holds above that low, then we are good. So if this is, in fact, a wave 1 up and a wave 2 down, it could get all the way down and even to a double bottom right at this level. As long as it doesn't get below this, then we're still all looking to the upside and everything is fine. So keep that in mind and just watch for those levels, watch for that low, and make sure that it does not get violated here. And then we can see about challenging the highs and heading higher in natural gas. So just watch for all of that. I don't really need this extension anymore. Whoops. I was expecting it to get maybe to the 161.8, and it got a little shy of that. So, but that can happen. There's no rule that says it absolutely positively has to always get to the 161.8. That being said, we did pull back to the 61.8, a little bit below it, and then popped above it again. So I'm liking this for the pullback of this this move here. This is the retracement there. All right, Bitcoin, and I believe that Bitcoin has finished its A, B, C retracement here, and now is looking to head to the upside, in which case we might have a wave 1 up, a wave 2 down, and now we're looking for a wave 3 up, and that is a wave 3 of the wave 5 on a weekly basis. We ended our weekly wave C, there's our weekly 3, and then we will have a weekly 5 somewhere up above. And I think there's potential that by the end of the year, we could be challenging those all-time highs, the 20K level. We'll have to see. The real question I have is going to be how many sellers are there still waiting up at 20K who maybe bought in somewhere during the last gasp of Bitcoin and the end of 2017, early 2018, and bought up at that $19,000 to $20,000 level and are still hanging on all the way through the entire pullback down to like 3,000. I mean, that is brutal if you bought up that high. And if people are still hanging on, they are probably going to be overjoyed to get out and just get their money back, or maybe even not all of it, maybe just most of their money back. So I don't know how many of those people are still hanging out at that level, but if they're there, I expect to see some selling happen up at that level. But it's also possible that they've already long since washed out of the market, in which case they're not up there. They're not sellers, which case there isn't a lot of sellers sitting up there at that level, and we might just shatter right through it. It is going to be extremely, extremely interesting to see what happens up at that level. I'm going to be keeping a sharp eye on that when, if and when that level gets reached. So far, right now, anyway, it's looking like a continuation of the upside as long as this low does not get violated. That is the key. We have to hold that low. That is the last line of defense right now for the bulls. If that low gets violated, then this entire wave count is out the window, and we got to rethink everything. And I'm going to have to go back to kind of the drawing board and re-examine and readjust. And that's just the way technical analysis works. It is not a 100% science. It's much more of an art. It's all about drawing happy little pictures and being able to trade with them. So I'm not much of an artist, as you can see there. At least not the drawing kind, but that is what I'm looking at in Bitcoin right now is upside as long as this low is not violated. If that low is violated, I will rethink and adjust, and we will see what happens from there. 13 EMA is coming down to maybe kiss the 50. They're getting very close, but as long as things hold up, it's okay. Right now, you can see the momentum has shifted, but that's not surprising given that we had the last push of an ABC extension, or rather retracement, excuse me, an ABC retracement there. So oscillator below the 0 line is expected, but now we'll have to see what it wants to do about coming to the to the upside. I'm not sure why this is. Oh, never mind. That's all the oscillator there is. So there we go. So not a lot of momentum to the downside. You can see how high this got versus how low this got. Definitely much more momentum to the upside. So if this oscillator can get just over the zero line again, then we're good. You can see the low momentum status here on the 60-minute chart, and just kind of drifting downwards right now, but watch for things to turn around and start heading to the upside. That's what I am looking for. So just be careful. Watch out for that low. All right, that is it for me this morning. S&P, yep, just still hanging in there, not really doing much of anything. So market opens in 40 minutes. I will be there with bells on, so to speak. So I hope you are looking forward to a good trading day ahead. I hope you've got yourself prepared mentally and physically, and I hope you have a good trading day ahead. Again, I'm Jonathan Van Kloot, and reminding you to give me a thumbs up on the video if you found this interesting or informative, educational, anything like that. And if there is anything I can do to help you in your trading going forward, throw some comments down in the comment box below and let me know. Let me know what symbols I can look at, or if you're having troubles, if there's any struggles you're having, anything I can do to, I don't know, help you out in any way that I can. If there's any insights that I can share, then I will do so. I'll do what I can. So that is it for me. Have a great trading day ahead. I'll do this again on Friday. This is hump day today, Wednesday. So a couple of days left in this week, and another week will be gone and checked off the list. All right. Have a good one. Trade well. Bye-bye.